One of the things that it's a misunderstanding that skeptics deal with a lot is that anytime they ask for scientific evidence about a certain subject, sometimes, and I've heard this response is, well, you can't have scientific, evidence for everything. I don't need to, scientifically prove to me that you have a dog or, something ridiculous like that. Well, this is a misunderstanding of the fact that not all claims require the same type or the same level of evidence. So you may or may not have heard the saying that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Well, ordinary claims require a lower, more ordinary form of evidence. So it's not that we, people who want science, want it for everything. Let me give you an example. I can talk to anybody, the most super skeptic, and if I say, hey, I have a dog at home, they're not going to go, well, prove it to me. Why? Because that's a very ordinary claim, which we have great evidence over years and years for lots of people who have dogs. There's nothing extraordinary about owning a dog. There's nothing supernatural or anything out of the ordinary about it. Now, so what I'm saying is, what's sufficient evidence in that case for someone to believe me, or for me to believe someone if they say that, is their testimony, right? And who cares if they're lying at that point? It changes nothing for me, right? They're not asking me to buy into anything. However, if someone claims that their pet, they don't have a dog, but their pet is a fire-breathing dragon, well, now we've made a pretty extraordinary claim, because the first thing is that they're claiming that fire-breathing dragons exist, of which we have zero evidence that fire-breathing dragons exist. And secondly, it's domesticated and living as a pet in somebody's house. This is an extraordinary claim, which needs more than just my testimony, or the testimony of the individual who's telling it to me. So, claims must be proportioned, the evidence is proportional to the level of claim being made. So hopefully that gets you to better understand why it's just ridiculous to try to write off anybody who asks for evidence for certain claims, to try to say, well, that's ridiculous because you can't have science to prove everything. No, there's times when that is the type of evidence that's required in order to make it reasonable to come to reach a conclusion about something. There are other times when we don't need that type of evidence to come to a reasonable conclusion. I don't need science to make it a reasonable conclusion that somebody has a dog who tells me they have a dog. I need better evidence if somebody tells me they have a fire-breathing dragon at home, because that's a more extraordinary claim. So make sure that if someone pulls that to you, if you're in the skeptical community, that you let them know how to proportion claims are proportional to the evidence, the evidence that must be provided is proportional to the claims made, and that if you're someone who's interested, listening to this because you're interested in what someone like myself is thinking, what's going on through the minds of skeptics, that's one thing that really frustrates us, when they're all lumped together as all claims are equal, therefore you want the same amount of evidence for all of them, therefore science for a claim like you have a dog or whatever is ridiculous. Just not true. And hopefully this clarified that for you.